Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the first Apple Macintosh, 1984. So before starting, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for future updates. The Macintosh was far from a hit when it first came out, far from being economical, and far from being fully functional. That first model, however, was successful in forever transforming computers, not only for aficionados but for the entire globe. At Mac's official launch, Steve Jobs declared, "You've just seen some photographs of Macintosh." On Tuesday, January 24, 1984, he performed at the Flint Center at De Anza College in Cupertino. He presented a Mac that looked nothing like today's computers. It had a small monochrome panel, blocky graphics, and a synthesized voice you wouldn't find in a toy these days. But, more importantly, it didn't look anything like the computers of the period. Up until that point, Stephen Levy wrote of seeing a preview of the Mac. Some poetic license was required when one said a computer screen lit up. By the end of the demonstration, I realized that these were tasks that a computer should perform. There was a better way to do things. When Apple previewed the Mac in October and November 1983, Levy was one of the journalists who got an early demonstration. This was part of Apple's dual-pronged strategy of getting everyone talking about the Mac at launch while simultaneously ensuring that everyone could obtain one right away. Apple was also manufacturing the Mac and distributing it to resellers, in addition to informing the media. There were also videos. It's possible that an independent news organization or station decided to cover the Mac, but it's more likely that Apple produced a series of videos, much like it does now. This evolution of a computer resembles an early electronic press kit in appearance. There appear to have been roughly 8 of these videos, and in a later one, the then presidential candidate, then presidential candidate, then presidential candidate, then inadvertently, CEO John Sculley displays his entire attitude toward computing. To promote this product, we've put together an exceptionally well-coordinated, very powerful consumer marketing package with Macintosh, he explains. Bless. In these films, compare him to someone else, someone you'll recognize right away. We're putting our faith in our ability to see. And we'd rather do that than create 2 items. Let other businesses handle it, Steve Jobs remarked. Perhaps he'll come to regret saying that when Microsoft does the same thing with Windows and, much later, when Google does the same thing with Android. Jobs, on the other hand, were not the original if they were copies. As much as he would like people to believe, he did not invent the Macintosh. Jef Raskin. To be truthful, without Jobs, the Mac we got that day in 1984 would not have been what it was. For starters, it wouldn't have had a mouse. In Apple Confidential 2.0, Apple's Jef Raskin told O&W Linzmeyer, "I couldn't bear the mouse." Jobs deserves full credit for insisting on a mouse for the Mac. Raskin, on the other hand, deserves full credit for initiating the project, conceiving the core principles for the system, and coining the name Macintosh. He even gets credit for the mouse's design, because despite his preference for a joystick, it was his effort that led to the one-button form instead of the 2 or 3 those others use. Raskin told High Tech Heroes in 1987 that he had been a frequent at the Xerox Parc site even before Steve Jobs' fatal visit in late 1979. "I had an honorary beanbag chair, there. I couldn't keep track of which button was which on their 3-button mouse. So, when it came time to make the Macintosh project, I learned you could accomplish everything with a 1-button mouse. It took me a long time to persuade others that this was doable." Jef Raskin, who died in 2005, wasn't always clear in his account of how the Macintosh came to be, but he was discussing with Apple chairman Mike Markkula in either spring or September of 1979. Either Raskin presented the Macintosh idea immediately away or he first declined Markkula's request to build on a game system. Whatever it was, he claims in the interview with High Tech Heroes that he had been thinking about Apple's future. The Apple III and the Lisa were 2 of the projects in the works. "I told Markkula that I didn't think the Apple III had the technical pizzazz to transport us into the future, and that the Lisa would be costly and slow. So I came up with a name for it, Macintosh." Apple V. Even though the business was working on the Apple III at the time, Raskin believed the term Macintosh was only a code name and that the final machine would be known as the Apple V. It was supposed to be a simpler machine than earlier Apple computers, at least in terms of usability. There were no peripheral slots, he explained, so clients would never have to see the guts of the computer. He proposed a $500 all-in-one machine with bitmapped graphics, which would allow the screen to display any image rather than just DOS-like text. That's around $1,208 today, which is a bit more than the price of a 6-core Mac Mini. Raskin also predicted that the machine would be available by the holidays in 1981. Instead, it was released in January 1984 for $2,495, about $6,000 in today's money. That's around the price of a Mac Pro in 2019. What occurred in the interim? Steve Jobs was born. Then there was John Sculley. When Steve Jobs was ousted from the Apple Lisa project, he changed his mind about the Mac project, which he had previously dismissed as unimportant. He was ousted for a variety of reasons, one of which being that he had recently visited Xerox Parc and was lobbying to alter the Lisa to look more like the machines he'd seen there. He was still thinking about it, and Macintosh was a side project that no one on Apple's board seemed to care about, so they crossed paths. Jobs took over the Mac project in late 1980 or early 1981, gradually cutting Raskin out until Mac's founder left in March 1982. It is undeniably unfair that Raskin does not receive credit for the Macintosh, and it is undeniably true that Jobs does not deserve it. Raskin, on the other hand, was given another opportunity to put his theories into action when he invented the Canon Cat. After that, what happened? Perhaps Sculley was correct. The Macintosh's launch was a huge success in terms of marketing and publicity. Because all it had was the vision, it wasn't a big hit at first in terms of being a visionary product. Because the original Macintosh couldn't do much, Jobs may have been mistaken. Both men, on the other hand, increased the price. Jobs demanded better specifications, and Sculley responded by spending $78 million, $188 million now, on marketing and attempting to repay the money as quickly as possible. So, the first Mac, which debuted on January 24, 1984, was a clumsy and expensive machine. Nonetheless, it revolutionized the computing business, and in the end, it truly changed the world. The history of the screen you're reading this on can be traced back to the first Macintosh. You can even view something else from Mac's launch on that same screen. The Apple of 1984, the one that gave birth to the Macintosh, also gave birth to one of the most famous commercials of all time. It had previously appeared on television during the Super Bowl 2 days prior, and Jobs rescreened it as part of the launch. Since those days, and perhaps as a result of what the Mac pioneered, television is no longer the most popular screen. We're also more likely to be online these days, which is where Tim Cook opted to commemorate Mac's 35th anniversary in 2019. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go and also press the bell icon so that you can get notification about our new videos. If it was helpful, then share it with others. Thanks for watching the video.